I'm interested in it. And the reason is because I feel like it's becoming more and more valuable skill to have, especially in entrepreneurship.
Well, what I would say is if you like or think you will like writing code and think you have any aptitude for it, I think it would be tremendously helpful for so off the record, and to be perfectly honest, like I think I've met several people from the Marriott School who say like I'm studying entrepreneurship or I'm majoring in entrepreneurship, and honestly I don't know what that means, because I think entrepreneurship is something that you do, not something that you study, and it's sort of like, it's a bad analogy maybe, but like I'm a political science major, right? Like I was like, well, what do you do with that? Like, and so I think it's good to have, like, especially if you're interested in the tech area, like, go take as much computer science as you can, and then, like, I don't know, I guess my take, and I've talked with like people like Nathan Furrows, like he should really be taking that and not teaching it to people in the Marriott School who want to be entrepreneurs, but like take that into the engineering department and take that into the computer science department. And so I would say I would strongly urge you to do that if you think you'll like it or have interest in it. I think it would be tremendously helpful.
Well, and that's kind of the idea is, when you study entrepreneurship, kind of, at least in the Marriott School, the big push now is kind of Nathan Furr's ideas of nail it and scale it and lean startup, and I guess that's kind of what's taught, so that if you have an idea, you can...
Yeah, but like, that's the thing, is like, I run into a lot of people who have this idea that I want to be an entrepreneur, but like, entrepreneurship for the sake of being an entrepreneur, as opposed to saying, I have this thing I want to do, and entrepreneurship is the best way to do it. Like, like I have this idea for how we can reinvent the delivery of healthcare, and it's hard to do that within the existing system, so therefore I want to start a company in order to be able to do that. As opposed to saying, I have this vague idea, I want to be an entrepreneur, and now I'm looking for something to channel that entrepreneurial spirit, right? So, I'm afraid that entrepreneur is becoming the new, like, buzzword, and you have to have like something behind it that you're trying to do, right? Not just that I want to be an entrepreneur, right? So
and I just think, cause you have coding experience, because I do have some ideas that I'm trying to accomplish, and one of the things that's frustrating for me is not even being able to, I have to get other people to even help me make a mock-up or something, because I don't have a lot of coding experience. And so I'd just like to do that, to at least have some ground knowledge, to be able to do some basic stuff, and then communicate better my ideas to people who are really experts. Right. And I think that'd be something that'd be really valuable, and so that's why I'm considering doing that. So,
did you like math and science as a high school person?
I do like math, So
I would definitely urge you to take some classes there and do that. And heck, probably double majoring is probably too much longer. But.
Yeah, it's a long. I went and talked to the department, and the guy that said, he said the minor is actually pretty comprehensive.
Okay.
I mean, and he said that with the stuff you learn, a lot of people could get a job off.
Okay.
I mean, so I think you learn how to code and all the main languages that are out there right now.
Right. Yeah.
So
so I would. I know it sucks because that pushes you out a year, but I would say if you have the luxury to be able to do that now, I think that'll be really good.
Yeah.
For you, what you want to do.
I think so too. So I'm leaning towards that right now, and plus I think it's being an entrepreneur in school isn't a bad thing. I mean, you have a lot of connections to people who can help you. There's no rush, feeling like you have to provide for a family or something.
Right.
You're kind of focused on learning and building things anyway, and so I'm not opposed to being in school for a little longer.
Yeah, and actually so are you married or?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, dating someone but not married.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because, I mean, in some ways that's easier, right? So there's less pressure, but I truly wonder whether, part of the challenges in Utah is exactly that, right? Like, people get married younger, they start families younger, and so, I mean, like, doing a startup is not easy, right? Like, I think if you are single and you graduated and you don't mind eating ramen and, living in a cheap apartment with 3 other guys, I mean, you can keep your expenses down, but once you're married and you have kids, that's sort of not an option, and, like, saying, well, I'm not going to have an income for a year or so while I try to get this startup started, it just, doesn't work, right? And so, I honestly wonder whether that is part of the challenge here.
I think so. I mean, I've heard a lot of people who have come and spoken to me at school saying that their opinion is if you don't start something now while you're in school, you won't. Just because of that very reason. That, a lot of kids here, you get out of school, you get married, and there's too much responsibility to take it off. So that's interesting, and that's why I'm not opposed to staying in school for a little longer. Is I've got some things I'd like to do, and no better time to do it than now. So,
cool.
Anyways, well, appreciate your time and your thoughts, and I'll send this over to you. Thank you.
All right.
And if I can do anything to help you guys out, let me know.
Okay, well, since you asked, I've got this. So we, like everyone else, is looking to hire some great engineering developer talent. So if you know of anyone who's recently graduated or even in school but is looking for, is graduating soon or potentially even looking for a little bit of work while they're in school, although that's sort of challenging just given the hours and stuff like that. But we're always, we're honestly looking for at least one.
Well, one thing I can do, and I can put it out on kind of some of my social networks and stuff, see if anyone's interested, and point them to you. And then I can also even put it in the blog post that you guys are growing and looking to hire or something, or and see what kind of response we get, and push anybody your way that seems interested and seems good. So.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about that when you get separate.